welcome back to another video, Zero Squad, and I'd like to explain the whole Ghost Rider deku thing. That won't, the second half of part 1 won't be coming out for a while, as, yeah, that person matters. So, for the meantime, I will be doing a new What If, which is based on one of my favorite animes, Dragon Ball Super. And this is what if Deku was a Hakaishin, or in English, a god of destruction from Dragon Ball Super, like Beerus. Now Deku would look like he does in the picture, just with green hair. So we open with Deku and Inko Midoriya, plus the birth of Izuku Midoriya. Now, a mysterious man is in the room with strange markings on his clothes and white hair. As Izuku is born, the man says, "Wow, my baby boy is so adorable." As he raised his hands, and he would say, "This boy shall be my successor and pass my legacy down." As Deku's father would place his hand on his belly, and all of a sudden a mysterious aura would flow through his arm into Izuku, as he would look towards Inko and say, "Inko, do not tell Midoriya of his powers until he is of age, or if he wishes to become a hero and he goes to UA, you must tell him. Do not tell him everything, as he will be too young to understand what his father is. So I will be gone for many, many years." As the mysterious man would walk out of the hospital teleporting, Izuku would start to cry, with a purplish aura surrounding his body, and a tail sprouting out of it. As he would fall to the ground, Inko quickly grabbing him with her quirk, gently placing him in her arms, rocking him to sleep. We skip 5 years later, and we see Izuku walking to school. But then Bakugo Katsuki would run up to him and say, "Hey Deku!" Deku would turn around and say, "Oh, hey Katsuki," as they would walk to school. But when they got there, they would hear someone screaming, "Hey, wait for me!" And they would see another kid running up to the two. As this kid would have long red, it would be Todoroki. As Todoroki, Bakugo, and Deku would run to the school, and they would get to class. Katsuki at this point would have awoken his quirk. Todoroki would have only awoken his fire side, his ice side, at this time. So, but they will be many times stronger. But every teacher would say, "Alright class, calm down. Now today we are going to be testing out your quirks." Everyone shout and say, "Hallelujah! Finally!" As Bakugo, Todoroki, and Izuku would be happy. Todoroki and Bakugo would be happy. Bakugo would say, "Finally! I get to test out my quirk!" Todoroki would say, "Yeah! I know! It's going to be awesome!" Deku would sit there quietly, as Todoroki would say, look at Bakugo and whisper, "Oh, crap, forgot about Izuku." Bakugo would turn towards Izuku and say, "Don't worry, Izuku, you'll awaken your quirk one day and I know it." As in this, I'm gonna make Bakugo less of a jerk. And so, Deku, we go to Deku, who sits there in the up front of class, as he would whisper to the teacher, as he would say out loud, "I'm quirkless," with tears slowly running down his face. As the class would burst out laughing, saying, "Then why do you want to be a hero, you useless nerd?" Bakugo standing up and say, "You watch your maths!" Out of pure fear of Bakugo due to him having the power of an explosion and his wimp, they all shut up. Todoroki standing up as well. People fear Bakugo and Todoroki because of how powerful their quirks are, in fact. Then we skip another 10 years. And Deku will be the oldest of the group. No, really. But we see a 10-year-old Deku walking to school. But all of a sudden, he turns into the street as he was about to head to the bus. But then he sees a villain on top, and hero. So he would say, "Oh my God, heroes!" Before running up to the street, running in the cross, running and watching. Blah, blah, blah. But he would go under the bridge. Alright. He would go under the bridge, and then he would go do the thing. He would say, look at a sewer head as a green sludge would spew out, saying, "A perfect vessel," while charging at Izuku. Izuku would start screaming and running before the sludge villain would get a hold on him. But then he would hear, "I am here!" And then a smash, splattering the sludge everywhere. Izuku would wake up coughing, feeling someone smack him in the face, hearing, "Wake up, kid." Then he would say, look up and see All Might and say, oh my God! Before getting up shakingly and say, "Can you sign my autograph?" That All Might, weirded out, would sign it before saying, "Now stay safe," before jumping off, but it would go as canon. Izuku asking, "Can a quirkless nobody become a hero, All Might?" All Might responding in his frail form after explaining, he would say, "Unfortunately, no. It is too dangerous for a quirkless some quirkless person to become a hero. Become a cop. You can still do good deeds like that." Before All Might rushes off, Izuku with tears in his eyes. Now, over the years, Izuku would become more depressed and less joyful, as Bakugo would become more of a jerk to him over the years, realizing how useless he is. So, Bakugo would be torturing Deku, but Todoroki would still be good friends with Izuku. We skip to a 15-year-old Izuku Midoriya. Expect a lot of skips in this. As he would go to school and it would go as canon, with Deku Bakugo saying, "You going to UA? Please, you'll barely last a day." Ooh, that rhymes. I might keep that in mind. As then, Deku would look there, annoyed, with anger in his eyes. As this Deku was now, over the years he's become a little bit more short-tempered. He would get up, walk towards Bakugo, and punch him straight in the face, giving him a Merryweather. That Bakugo would stand up and say, "Oh, so you want to fight, nerd?" Deku putting his fist up, saying, "I'm done with this now. I'm tired of you abusing me, Katsuki." As he would throw a fist, but Bakugo would catch it exploding in his gut, launching him in the wall. The teacher would tell the boys to stop, them getting sent to the office. with Inko being called. Inko would say, "How dare you? My son did nothing. If anything, you should be punishing Bakugo." So, yeah, as they would go home, Deku would eat dinner and go to sleep. But in his dream, he would wake up and to find a cylinder of a man. As he would say, "Who are you?" As the cylinder would raise out its head and say, "Hello, Izuku Midoriya. You could say a friend, an ally of yours. I wish to help you in your time of need." But Izuku would wake up before then asking the name of the figure. Hearing the figure say, "My name. Well, I'll tell you later. I'll tell you a little bit later." As then, Deku would wake up, go to, as the UA entry center. He would be walking to UA in a usual fashion, spiky white green hair, walking to UA. As he has a little earring that his father left him when he was a child, as his mother told him that his father lived in Japan, so in America. So he left a little earring, but little does Izuku know, this will help him awake his. This is a very special earring. As he would get to the UA exam and it would trip and say, "Well, hope I get a new quirk in my next life." Before hearing a float, then release a feminine voice. No. Yeah, but this time, yeah, Zuko would look up to see a black-haired girl standing. As he would look up and say, "Huh? You're not dead? Huh? I think. I hope." For looking at the girl and saying, "Thank you," and running off. Breaking sound. Not actually breaking sound. He's not that strong yet. As he would get to the exam, screw writing, as Ida would do as usual, but Deku would tell him to shut up. As we would get there, and Deku would walk to the girl. As the girl told her name was, hold up. As the girl told her name was Violet Soul. Izuku said, "Soul's your last name? That's a pretty nice one." Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, Deku would walk in, but Ida would get in his way. Izuku would look up and say, "Get out of my way." Izuku would say, Ida saying, "I cannot let you pass. If you disrupt the girl, she will fail on the test." Deku naturally moving him, walking around the giant man. As in this, Izuku didn't get one fraud. But as I'm going to be doing all the time in all my what ifs, Kirishima did. So, if you don't like that, then don't watch my what ifs. Then, yeah, Violet would talk to Deku, and Test would talk, and Izuku would run in. As Izuku in this actually learned martial arts. His mother took him to a martial arts master who taught something called a martial arts style called Ryo Taekwondo. And this is inspired by the webcomic God of High School. You should go check it out. It's really good. Really, really good. The anime of it is on Crunchyroll. So, he would lift up his foot and say, "Ryo Taekwondo Bakuro." before kneeing the thing in its head, ripping it off, as his physical strength is stronger than most. Some sometimes mistake his strength for a strength-enhancing quirk, but he tells them he's quirkless. Before minutes later, he hears screams saying, "Ah! Help!" Shit, that was a terrible female impression. I am sorry. Ah! Help! There we go. As Izuku would run out and see as he would see everyone running away, and he would hear a girl screaming and look as his Violet Soul, the same girl that saved him from getting dead. As he would say, "Cowards can't even save one person." As he would jump and ask her if she's okay, as all of a sudden she would point behind her and see as a gigantic robot would come, dwarfing Izuku in size. Izuku would look up and say, "Dear father, what is that thing?" At that, it would be the 0.1 turtle. That's one. As Izuku would try helping her up, before the foot of the robot would come crashing down, making them into pancakes. But all of a sudden, a purple flash of light would come from under the thing, blasting it off. As Izuku would be standing there with golden gauntlets on his arms, and an aura of purple around him, as he would be breathing heavily, saying, "What the hell just happened?" While looking at the girl asking if she's okay, her saying yes, him putting her up, as he would get in a somewhat basic stance with her saying, "Rio Taekwondo," for pulling back his fist, similar to Cannon, and jumping up, yelling, "Fist of the Blue Dragon!" before punching the robot, punching it so hard that it basically explodes. The sheer force alone is strong enough to make a shockwave, piercing through the robot, blowing off its entire upper half. But Izuku's arms would all of a sudden, as he would realize he's not falling, he's flying, and the girl's unconscious, so her quirk isn't activating. So he realizes, he says, "I have a quirk!" Before naturally falling to the ground, using focus and breaking them Yankees. But Recovered Girl would come and recover them Yankees. Hours later, goes as Cannon, gets in the UA, blah 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 blah. As Izuku would yawn, as he just woke up pretty early, as he overslept, as he would be running, blitzing to school. As he would get to the UA door and he would say, "Dear father, are there giants in here?" Or opening the door and seeing three familiar faces. Two. As he would hear, "Get your feet off the table right now, that is disrespectful." Bakugo said, "Yeah, whatever, nerd. Get out of my sight." For Ida would rush over to Izuku saying, "Ah, you must be Izuku Midoriya. I am a great fan of yours. I am sorry for the way I talked and treated you during the exams," doing his cyborg choppy chippity chop thing. As Uraka would say, "Hey, I know that spiky green hair." Fuck, wrong female character. As Violet would say that, not Chuckle. But all of a sudden, Deku would look down and see a yellow bag, but he wouldn't point it out. It'll go as canon. I'm training until the quirk evaluation test. Finally, I got something right for once in English. Uraka would do her. Fuck! Uraka doesn't exist. Too fond of saying that woman's name. Forgive my sins, Father. As Violet would say, ooh, rock is lying. Diddy, da da, titty, da da, diddy da. As he would walk out, Izuku being first would, as I would say, alright kid, you got first in the exam, so come on up. I like a certain YouTuber. Deku walk up here. Out of my way, nerd weaklings. He's talking about the big boy Bakugo. Deku would look at Bakugo and say, he wasn't talking about you, Katsuki. Bakugo would say, what did you say, nerd? I'm gonna pummel you in the crown. Deku would look away. Whatever. Remember, cocky, arrogant. He's mad. He's not a crybaby in this. As he would pick up the ball and throw it and start doing what characters do when they're like playing, like bouncing the ball in the air, like throwing it up in the air. As I would say, what was your max limit? Your length and your max meters without using your quirk in school. Izuku would say about 15 meters. Use your quirk this time. Deku would look at him and say, I'll try? Aizawa's face would look in confusion as he would pull back his arm, throw the ball in the air, and then instead of using his finger, he would punch the thing, making a sound wave, making 4 sound waves, as he didn't even know he could use that much strength. But before he saw the golden gauntlets appear on his arms again, as he didn't know how they were coming up, he thinks it's a part of his suit, his quirk. As the ball would just go into space, but then it would come down like a little meteorite, slamming down in front of Izuku, as Aizawa would say, in his mind, infinity? Whoa, not even All Might was able to get this high. This kid has some potential. It's best if we can try and keep him on our side. He might be vital when it comes to fighting the man. Now, when he was with his Ryo Taekwondo master, he was taught of a concept of ki. As everyone would go as canon, but as he would say his, you lose, you're disqualified. Mineta getting last. Mineta kicked out. Thank God, you're welcome. I'm always gonna kick out that purple perv. As I would say, well, now that he's gone, let's continue. It's been a while since I watched MHA, so what I'm doing is I skip some arcs like I did in What If Deku Was. And was the half Archangel, like how I just in part 4 skipped all the way to like the current arc of My Hero Academia. That's because as now I haven't watched MHA, so my data might be off a little bit. Hold up. As up. it would go as canon. Fuck. Hold up. The battle trial arcs. Okay. Izuku's costume, but he doesn't really have a costume. He just has his regular green John jeans. But he don't even know what his costume truly is. Yeah, everyone's costume would be the same, except for one female in mind. Violet. Hers is literally just a full body armor, which is purple. Violet purple. So, and Izuku would walk into the building being teamed up with Violet. And it would be a canon teaming. Okay. And it was like and yeah, Deku would go in. As Izuku would walk in with Violet, as Violet would say, "Okay, what's the plan?" Deku would look at her and say, "We punch really hard." She would say, "That's the most stupidest plan that I've ever heard." Okay. Izuku would say, "I know Bakugo will come for me first. Personal issues. So you go for the bomb, take care of Tenshida Ida, and I'll take care of Katsuki Bakugo. Bakugo Katsuki. Okay." As they would conversate, they would hear explosions. As Bakugo would come running, jump flying, leaping down the corner and say, "Deku!" Bakugo would rush up and say, "Don't think you're better than me, Deku, because you got a quirk." Deku would say, "Why would I think I'm better than you when I already know I am? Why would I flex something that's true?"
Get dressed and get ready.
So, yeah. And, alright, so, Bakugo would charge at Deku, and Deku would punch Bakugo right in the face, shattering his entire mask. As during the turn of time skip. Oh shit, I forgot to go over that. We'll go over the 10-month time skip real quick. Over the 10-month time skip, let's say that instead of the 10-month time skip being for the entrance exam, there was a 10-month time skip for you to train before classes started after you did the thing. So, your boy Deku got strong. He learned how to. He don't know he has power to basically eradicate All Might in a matter of millimicroseconds. Just he know he has the ability to fly. He can punch really hard. He has Rio Taekwondo, and he has the mysterious gauntlets, which he still don't understand how they work. On occasion, special rings would appear on his arm and his neck. Then his tail. Everyone pointed out that, "Hey, Deku, you have a tail?" Violet would say. Deku would say, "Yeah, I have a tail. It's right, apparently, according to my mom, it comes from my dad's side." Your dad must have a pretty strong quirk. My mom told me that my dad has an emitter type quirk, kind of like Toto. So, alright, so your boy Deku would just charge at Bakugo, throwing hands with him, using his ki. he would yell, Katsuki! Bakugo on his knees, kind of bleeding, yelling, saying, what? Deku would say, beg for mercy, and I might just be in a good enough mood to spare your bones. So, Bakugo would say, shut the fuck up, for charging at Deku and blasting his entire upper body off. Or did he? Dun, dun, dun. Well, you're never gonna find out, because this is the end of part 1's What If Deku Was a God of Destruction.